So the house behind us is where we had a very significant and catastrophic event this morning. This is a domestic incident that spilled into this house. We actually have 4 significant scenes. One scene in an adjacent parish. There's another house a couple of blocks over, and then there's 2 residents behind us that were all involved in these incidents. But the gray house behind me is where 8 children were killed this morning. They range in ages from about 18 months to about 12 years of age. We were contacted for the shooting. Our officers responded, located the scene, located the 8 individuals, the children that were dead, and they tried to provide aid where they could, but ultimately were unable to save any of them. There was a child that jumped off the roof. We were able to get him to a hospital, and he is expected to survive. There's also 2 adult females that were injured during this mass shooting. They are both in critical condition. We are hopeful that they will survive. One is significantly more critical than the other. So we are keeping their families in our thoughts and prayers. The suspect in this case, after doing this shooting, carjacked a vehicle just down the road at West 79th and Linwood. From there, that's where he fled the scene, and our officers were able to quickly locate that vehicle and ultimately chased it to a neighboring jurisdiction. At the end of that pursuit, the suspect exited the vehicle with a firearm, and ultimately our officers were forced to neutralize the suspect. The suspect in this case, this is entirely a domestic incident. So the suspect shot the mother of the children first, then responded to this location and shot 8 children, 7 of which being his own. There was an additional child at this residence that was not akin to him. However, we're still working on relationships and whose parents are whose, but it's a very hectic scene. There's a lot to investigate, a lot to unpack, and we want to do the best we can to come up with a clear timeline, a clear reasoning, even though cases like this, the reasoning will never be fully understood. And it's something that's a tragedy in our community, and we're going to do the best we can to support those individuals involved and around, and do the best we can and move forward.
It is very difficult. This is, a lot of times you have homicides that are people who know each other and they're fighting with each other. This is totally an unprovoked circumstance involving 8 children. It lets you know that evil still exists in the world and that we need to be fighting everything we can to overcome that evil with good, to shed light in the darkness. Well, I think the community is in the process of gathering together. You see lots of people on the street here that are gathering for prayer and mutual support, and that's what communities need to do in this circumstance.